So for those of you who don't know what Tiege Hanley is, quick little refresher, it's a monthly skincare subscription for dudes. We give you the essential products that every guy needs in order to have incredible skin and look amazing. The reason why this business started in the first place was because Kelly, my co-founder, basically went into the skincare section of like a big department store, and he was looking around and he was overwhelmed at how many different choices, how many different products were out there. And so he was like, I think we can simplify this. Now, my partner Kelly had another business that was called Purchase Point. Purchase Point basically made displays and point-of-purchase displays for a lot of these big brands like Unilever, right? And so he had a business that was making this and working in this space, and he knew that the men's skincare market was open, right? In terms of it's pretty wide open. At the time when we started, there were some brands like Jack Black was popular, Kiehl's was out there, Baxter of California, but really there weren't that many. Now it's crazy. Like there are a crap ton of men's skincare products out there right now. But we were early on. What we did differently than and once again, it's a brain dump. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna kind of talk and tell you stuff that I feel maybe is important or relevant, and I'll get granular on a future video. Anyway, so he sees that it's crazy, right? And he goes up to the sales associate. He's like, I want this and I want that, and I just want to look good. What should I use? And they told him like 10 products. He's like, this is crazy, right? And so he goes to his best friend, Rob. Rob and he went to college together. Rob had just left his business. He was actually, he worked for a technology company that sold something, I don't remember exactly, but something to BlackBerry, and Rob got like a little exit. And so he was kind of trying to figure out his next move. So Kelly said to Rob, hey, what would you think about starting a business where we actually send guys skincare products and we'll basically package it and we'll call it Tiege Hanley. Tiege is basically an old family name that Kelly had. He had a big book in his family. He opened up and the first name was a guy named Tiege. Tiege Hanley was actually a relative of Kelly's. Anyway, so he tells Rob, about this idea, and Rob's like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's give it a try. Kelly's like, all right, I'm going to be the investor. Rob, you're going to handle the day-to-day operations. And long story short, they launched Tiege Hanley version 1. No alpha yet, no Aaron Marino, nothing. Version 1 was a box where basically they went and they sourced like a moisturizer from Jack Black, an eye cream from Zur. Like they basically built a box of other people's products. And so they had, I think, like 3 levels. It was like regular, advanced, and like extra sexy or something like that, right? The names weren't that good. That would be a good name. Anyway, so they basically start selling, or they didn't sell any. They wanted to sell people, dudes, basically a kit that was assembled of other people's products. And so they launched it. They didn't sell any, right? And so Rob was online and he was like, let me look. And he found my video that I did a long time ago for Jack Black talking about the nighttime routine. And he tells Kelly, he's like, hey, what would you think about reaching out to this guy? Maybe he can help us. And so Kelly's like, yeah, reach out to him. And so they ended up reaching out to Men Influential Media, the guy, Terry, my best friend from high school. I've also got to tell you about that business, my advertising agency. So they reach out to Terry. Terry reaches out to me. He's like, there's this company. He's like, it's called like Tiege something. I'm like, okay, let me see. I'm like, the name's stupid. And he's like, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, why not? And so Terry negotiates like a $90,000 deal. It was like for 9 videos. At the time, I was getting like $10,000 per promotion. And it was for me to basically be like a spokesperson and just talk about and promote like Tiege Hanley. Not this Tiege Hanley, the other Tiege Hanley that had other people's products. And so he's like, are you interested? I'm like, yeah, sure, right? Because I've always wanted to be in skincare. I remember when I was on Shark Tank, one of the things they cut out was me saying, hey, I want to someday start a skincare company. And so I've always wanted it. I actually had a name picked out like for another skincare company. And so I was really interested in skincare. I was already doing hair care. Pete and Pedro was already, up and running. But skincare was always something that I've been very passionate about because I started using skincare because I wanted to look good for a long time, right? So anyway, they reach out, or Terry reaches out and said, hey, we got to get on a call to talk to these guys. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So we get on a phone call. It was a conference call. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember where I was on the road that I was talking to him. I was on the phone driving. And they're telling me a little bit about it. I had already looked. And Kelly said to me, he goes, so Aaron, what do you think about the business and the idea of the business? Because they had, up until this point, hadn't sold like any. And they were launched for like 6 months, like no sales, right? And they had a woman that was like kind of like a mom, like being like, "Hi guys, would you like to look?" Like it was rough. And so he said to me, "What do you think of our business?" I go, "Honestly," I said, "it's kind of like a who cares business." I said, "You could literally go on Amazon and buy all of these products. There's nothing special about it. What would be better is if you partnered with me, we develop a system, give them a month's supply, and we're team members or partners, and we grow the shit out of this thing and just blow it up huge." And long story short, they basically are like, "All right, we're coming to Atlanta. We want to meet. We want to have dinner. Let's talk about how this actually happens." Rob and Kelly come to Atlanta, and we have a meeting at my office. We go to dinner at the Capitol Grill. And he's like, "Well," and at this point, they're excited. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. But I knew what I wanted in terms of equity. And so he's like, "All right, so what about like, we think we could, maybe like 5% equity." I'm like, "No, no thanks, I'll pass." "What about that?" I'm like, no. Anyway, long story short, the first meeting we negotiated, I was going to get 25% equity in Tiege Hanley. But then since then, I actually got more. We did a little pull because I was frustrated because I was driving a lot of the sales, right? And so that's another story, different time. But anyway, so right now I own about 30%, a little more than 30% of Tiege Hanley. So we say, okay, let's do this. Another interesting twist of fate is that Rob one day, after we decided, okay, this is what we want to do, we need to create our own products, right? Not private label. We need to customize these. We need to make them like super effective and amazing. And so Rob actually happened one day to be golfing with a guy who was a big, huge like chemist for a monster company that did like a lot of women's skincare. And he said to him, he goes, "Hey, you're a chemist. Well, we're thinking about doing this. Would you be able to help us build formulas?" He's like, "Dude, I could build you a formula in my sleep." It all kind of just like a weird handsomeness twist of fate came together. And so long story shorter, I should say, we ended up getting together. We ended up putting everything together. We blew up the old company. We got rid of it. Kelly was going for his equity, was going to invest like $175,000 into this business. We were going to base it out of Chicago because that's where Kelly was. Rob was going to basically work for the company full time. At the time, early days, Kelly was still moonlighting. He had another company, but Tiege Hanley was starting to take up more of his time, more of his energy. So anyway, when we started, one of the best things we did, Rob and Kelly, I said, "Hey, I got an idea." I said, "What if I did videos, a vlog, start a new YouTube channel for Tiege Hanley, and what if I posted a weekly vlog talking about, basically building the brand and the business Tiege Hanley, tell people about what we're going through, what we're doing, things that we're dealing with, things that we screwed up on, and just talk a little bit about it." It would do a few things. Number one, it would give people and potential entrepreneurs some insights. It would also possibly build a community around this brand because here's the truth. When it comes to the way that we buy nowadays, gone are the days where a company would just have a ton of advertising dollars and the company that basically would spend the most and get their product out there the most, they would win all the customers. Now we buy products very differently. We buy products from people and brands that we connect with, that we resonate with. And because I thought, all right, well, maybe this is a perfect example of if we give value, if we invite them into sort of our business and talk a little bit about things we've learned, things we screwed up, things that we're doing well, successes and failures, it would not only be great value, it would also build a loyal tribe of people that might be interested in actually buying it when we do launch. And so I started doing the vlog months before we ever launched, and I just started talking. I think I did maybe like one little promotion on the Alpha M channel, said, "Hey, I'm starting a business vlog, I'm starting a skincare company. If you're interested, this is where it's gonna be." I thought I was just gonna do it until we launched. I've done it for 385 consecutive weeks in a row. It's gotten a lot less about Tiege Hanley and more now just about like business and my life. And so the other day, last week, I actually made the hard decision. I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to end this. And so I did. And it was sad. It was sad to kill it, but it was a great idea. And now that I've got this channel and I'm really kind of loving this and really focusing on putting content out 2 a week, I needed to take time from somewhere, and that was the place. It just kind of made sense. I was talking about a lot of things on that vlog that I want to talk about here. Anyway, so we started, right? And so just kept putting out value, asking customers, "Hey, do you like the black packaging or do you like the white packaging? Do you like this logo or that logo," right? And what happened was amazing. We built an email list, which is another takeaway. I'd always say, "Hey guys, if you're interested in signing up for information or to help us out or to be notified when we launch, hit the link down below, go to tiege.com and make sure to sign up for our newsletter or our email list," right? Critical. Guys, I cannot stress the importance enough. Do not wait until you launch. Start now. If you're starting a business, if you're starting a brand, if you're starting anything, start collecting those email addresses. They're critical because on day one, when we launched Tiege Hanley, we had 1,000 people that signed up. 1,000 people. We literally were like at like from zero to like $800,000 run rate, like instantly. Boom, our minds were absolutely blown. How crazy it was. And we thought, at that point, we're like, and let me back up just for a second. Tiege Hanley was never built or designed to be a lifestyle business. The goal with Tiege Hanley, if I'm being completely transparent with you, from day one, when we met, was to be acquired by one of these big, like, strategic partners, like a Unilever or somebody like that, right? That was the goal. I think it was right around the time when Jack Black was bought by, I believe it was Unilever, for like $50 million or something crazy, right? We knew that if we can build this, right? Because subscriptions, super, super sexy, right? Like Dollar Shave Club, they're sexy because it's reoccurring. And that's another takeaway that I want you to understand. If you can figure out some form or some part of your business to be a reoccurring business or reoccurring revenue model like a subscription, do it. The reason why subscriptions are so sexy and so potentially valuable is that every day you're not starting at zero, right? You've got all of the sales. Like when I log on to my Shopify app for Tiege Hanley every morning at like 6 a.m., all of the subscriptions got charged. And it's like literally like $40,000 you're starting with before you actually get sales. That does not include Amazon. Reoccurring every day. Boom, you're getting that same reoccurring revenue, but you're also adding all the new people. So if we're adding 250 new people a day, right, it grows really quick. Something else we got to talk about at some point, it's not going to be today because I know that this is already long-winded and brain-dumpy, is churn. Churn, when it comes to subscription, is the thing you got to get a handle on. What is churn? So basically, here's the deal. If you have 1,000 subscribers, right, if you want to grow that, if you add 100 a day, right, you know that you're going to lose a certain percentage, right? We'll call it a month. Okay, so if you have 1,000 people that signed up for your subscription, you add 100 people, at the end of the month, you should technically, if you didn't have any churn, you'd have 1,100, right? And as it grows, as you add, awesome. But you have people, of course, that are churning out, people that are canceling. But what happens? If your churn is 20%, you're losing 200 people a month, right? And so you add 100, that doesn't matter, right? Because now you're only at 900. You lost 100 of your regular subscribers. But if your churn is 5%, right, you're losing 50 people a month. So instead of, 1,000, you've got 950 that are going to continue on. So if you add 100, your now total is 1,050. So you've grown by 50. It's all about getting a handle on that churn and doing whatever you can to lower it, reduce it, and keep people as long as possible. Churn is the devil. Now, something else I just want to talk about real quick. Tiege Hanley is a unicorn in our space. And the reason is because we have never raised any outside money other than what we invested to get it started. And it was like $175,000 what Kelly put into it. We have never raised a dollar. Now, in order for us to do what we've done and grown the way that we have from zero to over 20 million, right? Never raising money, this is absolutely unheard of in today's climate. But what we're seeing now, because the economy is getting weird, a lot of these companies that were basically like Tiege Hanley or other like direct-to-consumer brands in the men's skincare space or grooming space, they're starting to go under because they raised a lot of money and they never figured out that affordable customer acquisition cost. Now, customer acquisition cost is something else that we're going to have to talk a lot about. CAC. You hear the term CAC, customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you as a business to acquire a customer? And then LTV, another number you need to know. Lifetime value. Okay, so there's too much that I'm trying to talk about. That's just I'm losing. It's so much, right? I got to slow down a little bit. Today I need to keep this more top line and just tell you a little bit about Tiege. So we started this business The first 3 years, it was all me. I was the reason why we were growing so much. And our customer acquisition cost was basically zero because my equity was my promotions. I agreed to do 2 videos a month, and that was going to be my contribution to Tiege Hanley. The idea was that we knew if we were ever going to scale to the point of being acquired, it couldn't all be on my shoulders. I could not be responsible for all the sales because no company's going to want to buy it if I get, like, what happens? I get hit by a bus. If I'm responsible for 80% of the sales, like, there it goes. And so we knew from right away, like, first, like, starting out, that we needed to figure out a way to get it off of my back and to basically build an incredible marketing machine, and that is exactly what we did. It took about 4 years to do it, but I am so incredibly proud of the fact that we figured it out. We have finally figured it out to the point of my share of site on average is around 2 to 3, depending on if I do a video, it might be more than that, % a day, which means that 98% of the traffic that's coming to Tiege Hanley, Tiege.com on a daily basis is not from Alpha M, which is amazing, and that is the goal. The 2 main areas of Tiege Hanley's revenue is Amazon and .com. .com is much bigger than Amazon, which is a good thing. How do I even wrap this up? So we're growing like crazy. We're doing the things that we need to do. Nothing sexy. It's about the fundamentals. And if you learn nothing from what I tell you and my experience, there is no magic bullet. There is no easy button. It's about breaking rocks, it's about doing the hard work, and it's about building a successful business. I hope you enjoy this. I hope that you're getting some type of value from what I'm telling you. And if I didn't address something in the manner that I should, please let me know down below. And if you dig this, please let me know down below. If you haven't, drop me one of these. Please drop me one of these. But I love this channel. I love the business. I love business. I love entrepreneurship. And I love this process. I have never felt this energized and excited talking about things or making videos like I do now on this Alpha Empire channel. And I am so excited. I'm so excited for the future. And I wish I could be 6 months down the road with a lot more videos out there, but I got to start somewhere. And so one thing that I've learned is don't think and wait for perfection because it's never going to happen. It's about just working the muscle, getting stuff out there and doing it again. Gentlemen, I'll see you next time when we do it again.